Come on, boy, let's get into the house.
Inside, boy.
Hi everyone, I'm Flygon HG, and after many, many months, I am finally back with Papa C for a hardcore Nuzlocke sabotage challenge in Pokemon Black 2, to see what we define as hardcore Nuzlocke.
Oh! Might I juggle your balls? Yeah, okay.
This is perfect.
Oh, very good. Alright, thank you, French juggler. The circus is in town, bringing joy to all who visit. It also happens to bring a nice bit of gold. Cool. My people are still leaving, but this next day is going to be a new day. There's a bunch of goblins in the lower corner. I'll slay them for a few gold if you want. Okay, go for it. Have fun. Also, those critics! My lady, I have returned. I'm ashamed to inform you that I returned with nothing. Shall I show myself to the dungeons? No! No! You're fine. You forgive me? Oh, kind and gracious Lord, bless you. I didn't sneeze, but thank you. There's a very stinky kid running around the streets.
You lost control.
Should we force her to have a bath?
Trying to kill us.
Yes, hygiene is of the utmost
Anger
importance.
can be a weapon.
Glad you agree. She won't be after
If you
though.
control
Well,
it,
sucks
use
to
it.
suck. You gotta be
You
clean.
clearly cannot.
My type.
I haven't been sick in a long time.
For you, my lady.
I'm better now.
Okay. Yeah. Ah,
Fine.
yes. Nice and hot, madame. Are you a freaking weirdo?
Come on,
Why you
man.
gotta be weird like that? Hello?
You want me to hate?
I want you to try.
Happy. Okay, good. That's good. Circus is still going.
What are you?
Try again.
Oh, please, happy.
Why are you doing that?
Too slow. Try again.
Cut it out!
Weak. Again. Again.
Stop it!
Again.
Smile direct level line. They're laser cut for comfort.
You're angry. You can get lost in it. But that is difficult. And you, Atreus, are clearly not ready.
What was that?
Quiet.
Hey y'all, Scott here. No, the world's a much better place.
No use hiding
Is
anymore.
the worst. I know what they're
I know who you are.
What's going on?
I sure do miss the
You know
person.
him?
So I bought just a
More
door.
importantly, I know what you
You're not
are.
doing much, but it reminds me what it's like to have
Leave the
purpose.
floor. Now.
But you told me never to
I
go
like
down
doctors,
there.
I got nothing better to do.
Who is
But
that?
here's my only
do not
problem.
know.
I also
What are you
look
talking
at things
I do
inside
not
them.
know. Get in.
Physical video games are hard to make. I mean, I really do it. I'm the best I can do.
Tell me what I want to know. No need for this to get bloody.
Use the game on a video game console on a disc or cartridge. It feels like you've made it. People do that sometimes. We live in a digital age now. It's become uncool to hold things. But for those with a soul, physical media is still out there. The digital age
thought you'd be bigger.
You're telling me when that
Should
game publisher
definitely
just
don't
spit this out on digital stores and call it a day, they went to all the
Long
trouble
way
of
from
using
home,
plastic.
aren't you?
Obviously, digital is more
What do you
convenient
want?
in the way of the future. I think it's
Oh,
just
you-
Can I skip this?
Especially the games.
God damn it.
Physical media, you can sell that in stores more organically. I've done some research in stores like that. I didn't know the concept, but they sell you a game console which you can find games for at Target. That's just what a gap. They're gonna sell digital code in the stores, but I don't really get it.
You lost control.
That thing was trying to kill us. It's not like you don't get angry or anything.
Anger can be a weapon.
You have to include these codes, which is frankly just clunky pay-per-views. Nothing that's not even makes sense in as gifts. Because if you have a gift card to a store and want a digital game, then just buy eShop card for funds. So that's another reason physical makes sense. Gifts. It's way more fun to open this as a gift compared to this. Digital codes just aren't exciting. Double that with the fact that going digital only means you're going to fill up your console storage capacity faster than if you have a sex wall.
If you control it, use it. You clearly cannot. When you
I haven't been sick in a
It's an
long time.
adventure to buy a physical game.
Better
I found
now.
the way to the shop, that's a story to tell. Downloading a game, I still felt, and that's just embarrassing. However, It is a lot more convenient.
Come on, then.
Getting faster at loading up titles.
You want me to hate?
I want you to try.
Back on the Wii U. Can you tell why digital all digital? Some digital has its advantage.
Try
Like the
again.
second, games are so large, it's forever to download. You kind of almost need a physical option. Download moves and music. These things can be hundreds of gigabytes in size, and have
Try
conflict
again.
this too much using these other mediums.
Cut it
Plus,
out.
digital
Wait,
games
again.
can be off online storefronts.
Again.
It's like the obvious thing. The physical games are usually non-existent. And printing those physical games can cost a lot for a company, especially compared to just putting it out digitally. You have to be fairly confident the physical
You're
copy
angry.
will sell well to one.
You can get lost in it. The path ahead is difficult. And you, Atreus, are clearly not ready.
What was that?
Hey y'all, Scott here.
With prices rising, Attorney General Rob Bonta is defending California consumers against corporate.
Hey y'all, Scott here. It is laundry season. Everybody's cleaning the clothes these days. I'm not one to go against trends. I'll do it.
Do you know him?
More importantly, I know what you are.
Use the floor. Now.
What are you trying to
Wait, tell a story, pass the time. This is the story of a brown-haired white boy with glasses.
Get in.
Guess who? And one day,
Me.
he decided to talk about video
Tell me
games.
I have
what
blue
I
hair.
want to know.
And I don't have glasses.
Want to hear some useless?
Oh.
Video games are funny. They take 12 years to develop, and they stink. You ever announce a video game and its release date of yesterday when you only have like 8 minutes of work done? Well, you're a video game company.
Listen, my game is coming out yesterday, and I've worked on it for 1 second.
Looks like you need a delay. A cold hard fact every studio has to face at some point. Nothing kills the mood more than that for fans, but it's a necessity. Rushing a game just means the developers are going to be scrambling and the consumers are going to get garbage. It's almost always a good thing when a delay occurs, even if it stings a bit. But, as somebody who watches the video game industry like a hawk, I can sense things. My 5 senses are at dangerous levels. You ever see me taste lemonade? If you pay attention enough, you can always tell when a delay's about to happen. If it just doesn't seem right, the game will come out that quick. It's impossible. Like, we've barely seen anything. Studios refuse to comment on the game's status. The development building burnt down. Something's fishy here. Now, there's a difference between games that get delayed and games that languish in development hell. Development hell is more so games that just take forever to get made, while games with numerous delays, I mean, they take kind of long, but come on, it isn't that bad. Take, for example, Mighty Number 9. No! This is a game notorious for the amount of delays it experienced, but when all was said and done, I mean, it only took roughly 2.5 years to release from the initial announcement. The way most people talk about it implies it took forever to come out. Well, in dog years, yeah. Now, what really annoyed people about Mighty Number 9 was the amount of delays. See, they started a crowdfunding campaign for a spiritual successor to Mega Man and decided to offer players a whole country if the game got funded, plus a Wii U version. Due to the sheer success of the campaign, they kept offering stretch goals. So, if we reach this amount, we'll tuck you in, and if we reach this amount, we'll spit on your foot. That made the game more complicated than necessary to develop. What once was a game that was supposed to release in April of 2015 became a game set to release in September 2015. And then February 2016. And then spring 2016. And finally June 21st, 2016, which is technically when summer begins, so it didn't even meet the spring deadline. You really couldn't have released it a day earlier? In the end, Mighty Number 9 was one of the sloppiest looking games of the year, not living up to expectations and numerous delays kept raising. Oh, I'm sure the delays made the game better. They were more so indicative of a troubled development rather than wanting more time to make the title the best it could be. I'd consider a game like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild to be delayed for the latter reason. It may have had trouble development, we don't know. Somebody might have pissed themselves at the office, but the numerous delays this game experienced felt more so because that was just what the project demanded. This game did so much that required tons of research, testing. It's no small game, so the extra delays made sense. This did. Breath of the Wild was first talked about in January of 2013, then shown for the first time in June of 2014, ending with the projected release year of 2015. Was that really necessary? Did you just have to say, oh yeah, it's coming next year? Wasn't the teaser enough? And they were pretty adamant this would release in 2015, even affirming it during a gameplay demo in December 2014. But then that brought us to March 2015. If you ever seen Nintendo employees stand like this, can run. To be fair, it made me mistake here that while it was probably possible for the game to release in 2015, they just had so many new ideas they wanted to cram into the game and preferred just not focusing on trying to meet a 2015 release deadline. The thing was, they never said it was delayed, they just were making a 2015 release their priority. Well, that means there's still a chance, right? Yeah, but God hates Nintendo fans, so it makes things tricky. The entire year, we got nothing on the game until November 2015, where they said, yup, in 2016, it's coming. Nintendo, stop typing. You're not good at it. So in 2016, we finally got substantial footage and the official title, and in January of 2017, we learned its official release date of March 3rd, 2017. So formally announced 4 years prior, roughly 2 delays. It's obviously great, which add tremendously to the game, and 100% due to poor planning and management. Sure, the delays hurt, but it didn't matter in the end. You weren't playing Breath of the Wild because I'm so glad this released in 2015. You were playing it because it was Breath of the Wild. And that shows why delays are almost always silly, bitch. Right? Would this game be that much better if it released on January 26th compared to January 28th? When I'm planning to die on the 27th, yes. I think game delays are a big talking point because it's obviously a little embarrassing for the game developers and publishers to go through that. Final Fantasy 15 had an entire event dedicated to celebrating it finally getting a release date of September 30th, 2016. Which made the delay to November that much funnier. But hey, that's only about 2 months worth of a delay, which that amount of time, it's pretty crazy how much of a difference it can make. 2 months in game development time is almost nothing. I think they noticed they misspelled final on the title screen and had to delay. But if 2 months is really that big of a deal to you, you really need to reevaluate your priorities. Don't get me wrong, some game delays can be stupid annoying, which is why I like to rate my game delays on the come the f*** meter. Rayman Legends. Everybody loved Rayman Origins. Except for Shakers, I don't think they had a chance to play. A sequel to one of the generation's defining 2D platformers was announced as an exclusive for the Wii U in 2012 and was set to be a launch title. No, it got delayed to February 2013. So, one delay in, but it's no big deal. The Wii U launched with New Super Mario Bros. U. I'll watch it well from my mouth, but you got a very capable 2D platformer at launch with that game already. I think February suits Rayman Legends a bit more. Come on, what else happened in February that year? The Pope resigned? A good time to release Rayman. But shortly before that release date, Ubisoft announced they were delaying Rayman Legends to September 2013 so they can make the game not a Wii U exclusive, and rather, release it on other consoles as well. Come the on! So Ubisoft decided it wasn't a good idea to make Rayman Legends exclusive to the Wii U because their other exclusive Wii U titles on Wii U underperformed. Listen, yeah, multi-platform is way to go for these developers, I get it, but reconsidering if Rayman Legends, a family-friendly 2D platformer, should be exclusive to the Wii U, mainly because an M-rated first-person survival horror game didn't do as well as you wanted, I feel it's a little bit super fucking stupid. But then Ubisoft acted like everybody loved when Rayman Legends was announced, but when all these fellas heard it was Wii U exclusive, man, the PlayStation and Xbox gamers, they were sad! We can't let them not have this game they probably don't care about.
Okay then. Yeah, I ain't got time for you either, sir.
The game was done in time for the original February release date. Ubisoft forced Wii U owners to wait 7 months to play this game, just so PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 owners could play it at the same time. See, that wouldn't be so bad if Ubisoft didn't constantly release games during that era that came out for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, but not the Wii U. Well, so when PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 owners are disappointed that a Wii U game is only coming out for the Wii U, well, let's rip it away from Wii U fans and give them what they want. When Wii U owners are disappointed a PS3 and 360 game isn't coming out for Wii U, what did they expect? They bought the Wii U. They ended up releasing the game on September 3rd, 2013 for PC, PS3, Xbox 360, PlayStation Vita, and Wii U. They had to delay the game so you don't release it on a failed console to release it on 2 failed consoles. It didn't do that well at launch, and honestly, it makes total sense. Wii U owners were ready for Rayman Legends in February. I mean, there was nothing else to play in the first half of 2013. I think a good chunk of early adopters of the console would have jumped on it if it released in February. When you release it in September, all these games were coming out not only for all platforms, but on Wii U, we had Pikmin 3, Wonderful 101, Wind Waker HD, Wii Party U. Rayman Legends could have had a few months all to itself, and I guarantee you it would have garnered more attention. Instead, it sort of got lost in the shuffle because they delayed it, which in my opinion is one of the few examples of delays sort of backfiring. I don't think it entirely did. It was great. It just released at a busy time. I would have recommended releasing the Wii U version on time in February than releasing the other platform versions at a later date. There was speculation that Ubisoft couldn't do that because Microsoft had a policy where multi-platform games have to release the same day or earlier on Xbox platforms, or just straight up can't release on Xbox at all. I don't know. I've seen numerous examples of that not occurring. I don't really know why Rayman Legends would have been treated differently like that. I think it's ready. Might as well test it out by cleaning some forks. There are some studios that almost always delay their games. If a release date seems too good to be true, it is. Rockstar originally revealed that Red Dead Redemption 2 was coming in holiday 2017, and then first half of 2018. It released in October. Grand Theft Auto 5 was delayed. Grand Theft Auto 4 was. The original Red Dead Redemption was. You'd think they'd learn not to set a date, but it's almost a tradition that certain studios and franchises delay their games, like with Zelda. It's almost like every single home console major 3D Zelda title has been delayed in some way, shape, or form. And then there's Spore. Don't be like Spore. Delays can infinitely raise expectations. If the developers have so much more time, this better be the best game it could possibly be. I now have nothing to do in 2007, Spore! I think that's what happened with Mighty Number 9. I mean, all those delays, and this is what we got? Crowdfunded indie games have it rough in this department. They almost always get the release dates pushed because there's only, 4 people working on them? But because they're crowdfunded, because they receive donations ahead of time, there are loads of people that expect the world from these games. For sure, Shovel Knight received over $300,000 and was delayed a few times and came out phenomenal, but $300,000 isn't a lot for a game. It's insane they were able to make it on that budget. So for people to look at Kickstarter games as if they're expected to live up to being delayed numerous times, I don't know. I mean, we know what the budget is ahead of time. If anything, that should set your expectations better. But no, these games are often scrutinized the most for delays. But when Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered took 2 years to come out, not as many people bitched. I found that to be pitiful. This is a remaster of a GameCube game announced in September 2018 that was set to be released a year later. That's already sort of pathetic, but got delayed past January 2020 and finally released in August of 2020, and it was dog shit. But of course, my favorite game delay is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. It was announced for November 2013, it got finally delayed to December 2013, and then Nintendo said they needed more development time, so they delayed it to February 2014, and the developer said, we don't know what they're talking about, the game's done. It was obviously pushed because, kind of like with Rayman Legends, having Donkey Kong in February gave it time to breathe and be the only talk of the town. I remember people acting like Nintendo really up again because Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze was coming out in February. You really thought Nintendo was doomed because you couldn't play Donkey Kong in December? Did you really think that was going to push the Wii U over the edge with the new PlayStation and Xbox launching around the same time? Yeah, this might have Need for Speed, but with the Wii U with the Donkey Kong game coming out in December, any other month, I wouldn't give a fuck. I do believe many people react to delays. It's more than fair to be disappointed, but there's obviously more good that comes from delays most of the time.
Love you. Love you too. Oh, Mom. You want to know something funny? This YouTuber I'm watching was talking about games that were delayed. People were complaining about Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze being delayed to February, and the people that made the game, you wanna know what they did? They were like, we don't know what Nintendo is talking about, the game's already done.
I'm gonna have to buy some more of those.
Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah, but you wanna know why Nintendo delayed it? Because all the other games that were coming out around that same time. Around the time they originally were going to have it come out. So they're like, you know what? We'll just wait until February 2014. There ain't no big games coming out then. No big games came out around then except Tropical Freeze. So pretty much they did the smart thing.
Love you.
Love you too.
I can't close it.
Okay.
Even when nearly all the examples I gave fucking stunk. But come on, I mean, Persona 5 was delayed a bunch. Doom Eternal, wasn't that supposed to come out in November? Duke Nukem Forever, oh, shut up. Video games require more work than nearly any other form of entertainment, and more problems pop up randomly. Bugs, glitches, design flaws, new ideas are too easy to not throw into a game midway through development, so developers are like, let's add this. The little increase the development time as a whole by a lot. That doesn't happen nearly as much with any other medium. It just makes sense that games get delayed. They're too complicated to not get delayed. Yeah, the idea that you now have to wait another month or two to play a game you really want to play, it's kind of lame, but that gives us more time to play all the other games that released 30 years ago. Cyberpunk got delayed, I still have yet to play Dino Ricky. I think while many artists strive under having a deadline, Having too strict of a deadline can obviously negatively affect the end product. Most games can release at any point in time and they'll be fine. Of course, games like Pokemon will have to come out at a certain time because of all this other merchandise and media tie-ins releasing to coincide with it. And that makes delays hard to do, but if you even have to entertain the idea of one, it's probably in your best interest to do it. Because Family Feud on Nintendo Switch really needed it. Did you really have to release it when you did? This is horrible. Well, after numerous delays, I've decided to cancel the laundry. But don't you worry. I think everything will work out just fine for our brown-haired white friend. Game delays are inevitable for all developers. And most of the time, I think they're highly respectable. It takes guts to admit, hey, we need more time. And sure, some are annoying, most are definitely disappointing. But in the end, I think most delays are for the best. It's not like real life or pushing something off till later will get you in trouble.
I'll keep coming. That old body will give out.
Hey y'all, Scott here. It is laundry season. It seems like everybody's playing in the clothes these days.
Gotta go get a drink of water.
Good morning, party stars! This intoxicating aroma. Oh, it must be our new friend, Tong! Don't be fooled by her wine gourd. She's the master from the School of Fire! Or what?
Hey y'all, Scott here. I haven't checked on my birth certificate since last September. Yeah, I'm really falling behind, so let's see what it has in store for us. Don't mind me, it was just a placeholder until they thought of something better. And they never did.
Good job, Scott.
Nothing like an existential crisis to start your day. Playing a video game? Whatever. Learning about its existence, now I could do that all day. I love when new video games are revealed. Telling everybody what the hell you're working on. It's an art, and the way companies reveal their video game can be vital to its immediate success or failure. The build-up to the release of a game can sometimes be more memorable than the final product, just because there's a certain magic to it all. Not knowing everything there is about a game and being surprised when they showcase something you weren't expecting in the reveal trailer is satisfying and exciting beyond words. Of course, reveals can go haywire. Now, I don't think it's deliberate. I doubt marketing folks are in their board meetings going, alright guys, just finalize our reveal plan for the game first. We up, but it happens all the time. For every Twilight Princess reveal, there's a Randy Pitchford doing magic tricks to sell the reveal of Borderlands 3. For every Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer, there's a Diablo mobile game revealed when everybody wanted a true mainline entry. For every Babyborn, there's a Peggle 2. The showmanship is important in video game reveals these days. They need to have an amazing CGI trailer with great gameplay shown alongside it with epic music playing over it all. The bonus points if it's broadcasted live on stage with audience reactions. And they also need to be anything but this. But the quality and impact of a video game reveal only truly started becoming important in the age of the internet. Back in the 80s and 90s, you just flipped through Nintendo Power waiting to scream, Pack Watch! This section was dedicated to revealing what's coming soon, and that was the primary way of learning about new video games outside of TV commercials or just walking in the store. Now, with the internet, this ensures more people are exposed to your game, and word of mouth spreads much more quickly and easily. But you gotta make sure your game is worth talking about. You gotta ask, is this a thing people will not shut up about on social media? It was much simpler back then because you couldn't go completely crazy with revealing your video game. You could only really throw a couple of paragraphs and screenshots of a magazine, and it was probably maybe less expensive and stressful than putting together a 3-minute-long CGI trailer, including good-looking and fun gameplay on a stage you have to rent out. But video games were becoming more than just some toy for kids to fiddle around with, and because of that, they were starting to have a little more flair and pizzazz than just ink words. One of the first big introductions of a game was Super Mario Bros. 3. They basically made an entire movie just to reveal this game in North America. Alright, The Wizard. It's fine, it's not good, it's not terrible. It was supposed to come off as a heartwarming movie about a little boy named Jimmy with PTSD who becomes an amazing video game player. But it was just a 100-minute long Nintendo commercial with footage of Mario 3 at the end. Man, the kid, is that a warp whistle? That was the only reason why people wanted to see it back then, and the only reason why people may want to watch it now. But this was kind of the starting point for large-scale video game reveals. As games became much more of a production, it became more and more appropriate for every game of stupid 10 to show a Last of Us 2 trailer, damn it. But just because of a a bombastic lead up to release, it doesn't say anything about the final product. Sometimes a bad reveal turns out to be a good game, and a good reveal turns out to be a bad one. Either way, you want to make sure your reveal falls in line with expectations of the game leading up to launch, or else people won't pick it up because they think it's going to be bad, or they'll be disappointed because it failed to live up to expectations. The adventure a video game goes through from reveal to release is always interesting. Except with Tetris 99, that thing just kind of came out. So let's talk about each step of the build-up to a release and historic successes, failures, and how each step affects the final product. Everything generally starts with the reveal. Sure, you get some teases from developers, confirmation the game is in development, or stupid leaks, but the grand reveal, the first time they formally unveil their product, is the main starting point. Sometimes reveals can go well, and other times they can be Skyward Sword. I have war flashbacks to the Zelda Skyward Sword demo at E3 2010, and now technically we knew an original Zelda game was being created for the Wii before this. A new Zelda was confirmed in 2008, and concept art was shown off the next year, but 2010 was the first time we saw Skyward Sword not working in the flesh. Yeah, when you're using wireless controllers to demo a game still in development that's heavily dependent on motion controls, yeah, something like this was bound to happen. I will say, a lot of the elements of the reveal outside of the technical issues were well done. Miyamoto appeared on screen and then was summoned on stage, I like that, and the quick teaser they showed beforehand was awesome. They show off elements of the previous 3D Zelda games until it shows off this game's new art style. See, technical issues can transform a game's fun announcement into, oh, that's a sacrifice you have to be willing to make by doing everything live on stage. This makes the reveal much more impactful, but just smacking some video online without any warning? I mean, that works too, and there's far less that can go wrong. Definitely less of a risk, but less showmanship with this route. Now, I'm confident saying if the demo didn't go haywire, this would have been up there as one of the best E3 reveals. Instead, it's one of the most notorious. How about reveals that don't tell you anything about the game at all? Like, at all. So you have this loading screen in the sky that turns into a flame ball flying around, and then, oh, it's Contra. They're coming. This was at E3 2011, and 8 years later, oh man, this game must be something else if it's taken this long. Didn't help this was the most generic way you could announce a game, and the only thing that made this scream Contra was the Contra logo. So not only did that game never come out, but there was nothing to discern from this trailer. But what about trailers that have everything to discern from, but aren't really the game at all? Killzone 2, that was fake. This was shown in 2005 to hype up the PS3. It was made to look like it was actual gameplay. It wasn't like a cinematic CGI trailer, it was more so a CGI gameplay trailer. Some people looked at this back then and assumed this was real-life gameplay. Oh, how far we've come. To be fair, we can finally achieve graphics like this now. Problem was, this was shown 14 years ago and can be labeled as my favorite pastime. False advertising. That's a major issue when trailers are misleading, and that's one of the biggest problems with game trailers. Many primarily use CGI or builds of the game that look and run much better than the final versions to swoon over consumers. Like that Dead Island reveal is one of the best trailers ever, but isn't the most indicative of what you get with the final package. And then when it's time to actually release some game, some developers realize, oh wow, we were lying. They have to end up heavily downgrading the game to release it before their deadline or for it to work smoothly on consoles. Watch Dogs is an example everybody likes to jump to, how the initial reveal and demos of the game painted it in a much better light. When it was revealed in E3 2012, people were impressed and expressed that they wouldn't like the game if at release it looked a bit different and slightly downgraded compared to the reveal. Ubisoft, you swine! I feel like people were a bit too harsh on Watch Dogs. It isn't a bad game, and it still looks pretty decent today. It's just with a bunch of bugs and glitches at launch, and with it being touted as a true next-gen experience, even though they released it on last-gen machines as well, it still disappointed people who were expecting it to be a much more mind-blowing experience, when in reality, it was a pretty typical Ubisoft game. I mean, now I'll think twice before booking Ubisoft to cater a grad party. Their stuff went average.
Turn working into winning at Cache Creek Casino Resort with a new hotel tower.
Advertised doesn't always equal their final product, but Watch Dogs got a lot of heat for its amazing reveal and ho-hum release, and I don't think it was completely justified. One thing I noticed and not enough people give Watch Dogs credit for is that it has a finalized title. Bad reveals aren't limited to games, consoles get them too. I'm sure you've heard of the third console curse at this point, where a company's third system is a complete disaster. The PlayStation 3, the Sega Saturn, but the Xbox One is the best example of this in the past decade. Now you may say the Wii U's reveal was significantly worse, and that is debatable. You may also say, wait, the Wii U wasn't Nintendo's third console. And you're right. It was their third console. But with the Wii U, that system's reveal didn't anger people, it just confused them. The Xbox One, now this console was revealed in May of 2013, and it was filled with Skype on my TV, TV on my TV, using Kinect with my TV, and Call of Duty Ghost. Damn, what a gaming platform. This reveal was incredibly tone-deaf, and was aimed at casual consumers who didn't care about tuning into a live stream revealing the next Xbox. To the audience who actually cared enough to watch an Xbox reveal event, this announcement was boring and uninteresting to almost every viewer. And not only that, but more news came out afterwards about how the console wouldn't support used games, would require an internet connection periodically, and required Kinect. This reveal alone confirmed Microsoft's place in anywhere but first in the console wars this generation. That's the major reason why the PS4 is in a distant first place compared to the Xbox One. With the Wii U, this reveal was so confusing Nintendo decided to re-reveal the Wii U at the following E3. That didn't help things, but at least this reveal didn't cause anger. They just didn't show the console. They kinda did, but it was blurry in the distance every time it was on screen. They focused so much on the controller that people assumed that's all the Wii U was. A controller for the Wii. Couple that with underwhelming games, and the Wii U, yeah, I'd say that was a fairly bad reveal. In terms of more modern stuff, Fallout 76, yeah, they built up to a formal reveal trailer of the game where it looked like pretty much another Bethesda Fallout. People were excited. And then rumors floated around about it being online only, and Todd Howard went up on stage at E3 2018, said a few swear words, and charmed everybody into realizing by the end of it all, I still didn't know what the hell Fallout 76 was. I'd consider that a botched reveal. That's like if Nintendo put out a CGI Mario Kart trailer, you'd say, oh, it's a Mario Kart game, and then the game comes out and it's an overhead racing game. Like, they specifically reeled people in who wanted a traditional Fallout game by not making it clear at all what the hell the game was in its reveal, making it seem as if it's a traditional Fallout game. They also revealed 2 new games in the works after talking about Fallout 76, Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. No gameplay shown, just crazy short teasers with logos. Now, Starfield, I'm okay with saying that was a bad reveal. That's a brand new IP, so showing space and then a logo means nothing to me. At least the Contra game from 2011, I know what Contra is. It's fairly understandable to do a teaser like this for a pre-existing franchise. Just saying that a new entry is in the works is enough sometimes. But Starfield, man, that's a new game. Just showing a logo is stupid in my opinion. It means nothing to me. Now, disappointment is one thing you really want to ensure doesn't happen during a reveal. But it's really hard when fans expect to have won one thing, and Nintendo does this instead. 2015 to 2016 was a bad era for Nintendo reveals as they kept doing the unthinkable and made bad games and announcements upset games. Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. Picture this. Everybody wants a new Animal Crossing game for the Wii U. At E3 2015, this appears on screen. Oh wow, Animal Crossing Amiibo being scanned on the Wii U? That must mean never mind. Like, come on, you put these 2 things on screen and you don't expect people to think you're about to reveal a real Animal Crossing game for Wii U? Instead, an Animal Crossing party game is revealed. And not just any Animal Crossing party game, a bad one. Metroid Prime Federation Force fell victim to being revealed at one of the worst times for Metroid fans. They reveal a game called Blast Ball during the Nintendo World Championships 2015, and then reveal that game to be a part of a new Metroid Prime spin-off a couple days later during their E3 presentation. So that just sort of proves that this Metroid Prime game is generic looking enough to be shown off as anything but a Metroid Prime game. And on top of that, the first Metroid we get after 5 years, and the first Metroid Prime in 8 years, is a spin-off on the 3DS. Yes, the best place for a multiplayer first-person shooter. Now, recently we've gotten the sheer beauty of Valve announcing Artifact. After not making a major title in years, something people really wanted from Valve, they just barked out some card game based on Dota 2, and it got a reaction alright. This wasn't what people wanted from Valve, especially because this wasn't a game in the same field as stuff like Portal, Half-Life, Left 4 Dead. This was a cash grab. It's almost like they planned such a negative reaction. All these mysterious visuals and then blam, a logo, with the Dota card game slowly fading in under it. A similar story with Diablo Immortal. Fans wanted a new Diablo. Blizzard said, we got a new Diablo for you, alright. Own Diablo, it's the next best thing. Next to having a finalized title. Remember when they revealed Pokemon Sun and Moon for the first time? Yeah, that's when they didn't reveal Pokemon Sun and Moon. They had this live presentation that was 7 minutes long just to show off a retrospective trailer of Pokemon throughout the years, and then they just smacked some Sun and Moon logos on the screen, which were leaked beforehand. Classic leaks happening right before a reveal and ruining the surprise and the entire context of the reveal trailer. Yeah, those are the best. Now, a bad reveal doesn't always mean a bad game comes out of it. A Wind Waker famously got a ton of criticism when it was initially announced. People wanted a more realistic, darker Zelda, something in line with a next-gen Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, and this tech demo Nintendo showed off for the GameCube. Instead, we got fun colors and shapes, and people weren't happy, but it turned out to be an amazing game. The original Metroid Prime initially had a similar reaction. The people were concerned when they first saw it at Space World 2000, but it changed significantly by its release and became one of the greatest games of all time. Look at that. Now, in terms of good reveals, I think the best kinds of introductions to video games are surprising, exciting, and self-aware. Now, what do I mean by self-aware? What I mean by that is I love it when you can see how the developer knows what they have. They know what fans want. They know exactly how to unveil their product. Easy example is Smash Bros. Ultimate's roster reveal at E3 2018. They start off with the standard characters you'd expect to see, but then they get a little wilder. Sonic and Mewtwo revealed right from the start, alright. Ice Climbers are back, alright, everybody expected that, good for them. Pokemon Trainer back after being cut from Smash 3DS and Wii U. Didn't expect that. The DLC newcomers from Smash 3DS and Wii U as well. Yeah, they're here too. Oh, Jesus Christ, Snake from Brawl, everybody is here. What does that mean? F***ing Pichu? They knew the exact order to reveal each character, and they knew Snake would garner a huge reaction, and then they followed up by confirming Pichu, the character that really made everybody realize, oh, they're really bringing back everybody. I mean, Wolf was one of the final characters revealed in this trailer because he was one of the most requested DLC characters in Smash 3DS and Wii U. And hey, speaking of Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U, that had some of the best trailers in the field, especially the reveal. It does the whole fake-out introduction with Animal Crossing, cuts to all the major franchises crossing over in the 3DS gameplay. Oh damn, Wii U visuals now. Villager, shitty names, Mega Man. Now some people may say the Brawl trailer was better than this, and that's totally fair. I love how it starts off with melee visuals and then everybody transforms into their much grittier, grosser Brawl models. Tons of newcomers revealed, ending off with Snake from Metal Gear joining. Just think, if Snake can be in Smash Brothers, you can do anything.
I can be in
Before
Smash.
this, we had Melee's revealed, where you could just hear how excited the audience was. They pretty much just played the opening movie, and seeing all these characters in beautiful CG and then in-game graphics that weren't too much worse made for an incredible reveal. This was the GameCube debut for a lot of these characters, so to see them all in such an amazing crossover fighter with silky smooth visuals for the first time must have been mind-blowing. I wasn't there, but God knows if they reveal Super Smash Bros. Melee for the first time again anytime soon, I will be. Just because Wind Waker was initially met with a negative reception doesn't mean all Zelda games were. Oh God, no. Obviously, one of the greatest reveals of all time was Twilight Princess at E3 2004. Keep in mind, this was a few years after the Wind Waker debacle, so because of that game's initial criticism, that made this reveal that much more impactful. Just as the press conference was wrapping up, a new trailer starts playing with Conan the Barbarian music, the same music that played in an Ocarina of Time trailer. As the music starts building up, Link comes in whipping out his sword. Gameplay is shown confirming that, Nintendo listened. Miyamoto appears on stage with a sword and shield. I mean, you can't get much crazier than that. This is easily the wildest a crowd has ever gotten with a video game reveal, let alone a Nintendo one. But you know, I really liked how Breath of the Wild was revealed. Not nearly as epic, but actually proudly showing how the game will look, and showing a scene of Link fleeing from a guardian gave you another taste. Just him snapping his fingers to reveal what an open-world HD Zelda game would look like made my jaw drop. Of course, who the hell knew what this was all about at the time? We really didn't have any context, and a bunch of people thought Link was a girl. 2015, yeah, can't wait for that. Now, when the PlayStation 4 was officially announced, Sony held this conference where they spent a solid 4 years describing everything they could about the console, without actually showing the console. But one thing I will always remember with this reveal was the introduction. They started things off with a video with this intense music. Sony didn't officially say they were revealing the PS4 at this thing, they just said they were discussing the future of PlayStation, which we all knew this was going to be the PlayStation 4. But this right here, when they go P, S, and then it cuts out before the number and plays this retrospective video about PlayStation. I always really like that moment, and I never see anybody talking about it. But a good reveal doesn't always mean a good game comes out of it. Metroid Other M was revealed at E3 2009, and it was an incredible way to end a pretty mediocre show. This was Casual's Corner. Women's Murder Club Games of Passion had a trailer featured at the conference. Huh? What? Why? But then Nintendo kind of threw this and Super Mario Galaxy 2 at the very end like they were throwing a bone to their core fans, and Metroid Other M looked amazing, especially with it being the trailer to end the show. Now, I personally stand by the fact that Other M isn't that bad. Most of the badness comes from the story and characters, and the gameplay is pretty decent. But this game is a prime example of good reveal turned sour by the game's final release. I'd say some of the most satisfying reveals are definitely those of games that have been requested forever. The Final Fantasy VII Remake, Kingdom Hearts 3, Killer Instinct, Shenmue 3. And then it sunk into me that they were just announcing the Kickstarter for the game, not the actual Game of Thrones conference. That was the focus. As much as I complained about The Last of Us 2's Tent and Banjo trailer, the initial unveil was a phenomenal introduction to Part 2. One of those things where we were all like, yeah, this is Last of Us. Yeah, this is Last of Us, this is Last of Us. Even with the game's release far off from when it initially debuted, the trailer gave you so much to work off of. This told you so much, yet not a lot at the same time. Okay, I hate this little factoid about myself, but I kind of like the Halo reveal trailers ever since Halo 4. Like, yeah, 343 Industries has had a sloppy record with Halo, but I like these trailers for their element of surprise. Like, oh man, who knows what this is, and blam, Master Chief is here. I like that because it always gives these trailers a sense of, oh! The stupidest one, though, is the Halo 5 teaser. I mean, this was basically just to confirm Halo was going to be on Xbox One, and this scene was never in Halo 5. And why does Master Chief need a cloak? He has armor. Because they wanted the big reveal that, oh, it's Halo! They're pretty cheap reveals, but they always lead to fun reactions. And of course, there are the reveals that are responses to recent events. I'm mainly looking at Death Stranding and Mighty No. 9. These games were revealed after Hideo Kojima and Keiji Inafune had pretty sour split-ups from their respective companies, and when they revealed their first games on their own, people went insane for Death Stranding and people went insane for the Mighty No. 9 Kickstarter. And then justifiably went insane after it was released. All those were just some historic reveals in gaming, but what about the stuff that happens afterwards? Sometimes it's nothing special, a few trailers here and there, and then boom, release. But hey, sometimes you get the best trailer of them all randomly thrown in there after the reveal. One of my favorite trailers of all time is the Breath of the Wild trailer during the Nintendo Switch presentation 2017. It added some of the greatest music and editing ever to grace a video game trailer. Everything was so epic and emotional, it was perfect. We get a title change sometimes. Maybe they reveal the game with a working title and logo with an intern screaming, hey man, whip out that Times New Roman font, we got a logo to make! Sometimes the entire identity of a game changes during this phase. Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem was revealed for the Wii U in 2013 and didn't appear again until 2015 where it became not that. Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE, pretty much an original game with elements from SMT and Fire Emblem thrown in there. Yes, exactly what I was expecting from this teaser. Conker's Bad Fur Day famously debuted as Conker's Quest.
I watch YouTube now. Because bored.